I'm actually I'll come back to a couple of our Spartans in just a minute, but good morning. Happy December 5th on this beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. Got tons and tons of things to be grateful for. I'm excited, I'm passionate, and I'm ready to go full tilt with you guys this morning. So if this is your first time coming to a Keep It Moving group coaching, I'd like to welcome all of our guests from SoCal, Bay Area, and everywhere in between. So let's go ahead and kick this off. We got a lot of great people on today. I am actually gonna go over to, let's see who is on the camera this morning. Let's go. You know, Vanessa, it's been a while since we had you on. Are you able to speak to bring us out?
Yes, I can.
Look
before I order my Starbucks.
Look at her smile. Look at her smile. All right, Vanessa, you know what to do. Bring the team out on the field on this glorious, glorious Monday morning.
Good morning, team. It is Monday morning, and I am just grateful to be able to wake up and get on this call. I know it's the season. Everybody is feeling a little under the weather, but just Google a little bit of, home remedies, and just try it all. And I think, I don't know, just keep killing it, guys. Have a great week.
Well, I appreciate it. And if you guys missed this before you guys were tapping in, if you are sick and have the flu or know somebody has the flu, I guess you cut an onion in half and then you saran wrap it to the bottom of your feet and you just lay there and you let the onion pull the toxins from your body. Now, Vanessa was sick. Aiden was sick. They're healthy and doing well now. And now my fiance is down with the flu. And so thank you for the home remedies. I'm also curious as we start out this coaching session, if you guys know of any home remedies that you guys would recommend, why don't you guys fill up the chat? I'll grab the list and I will, sleep for sure. Oregano oil. Okay, I've never heard this before. So go ahead and put your home remedies in the chat below. I would love, love, love to hear it because I'm going to tell you guys a secret here. All right. And don't hold it against me. I don't drink. And you know I don't drink. But when I am sick, there's one thing that I truly, truly crave. A little bit of Jameson, a little bit of honey, shoot that, then sleep. Like I know it's not a remedy, but it's the only time I ever crave any whiskey is when I'm actually down and I'm sick and I want to drink that and then just sleep all day. But anyways, enough about that. All right, guys, I want to do this. We have a couple Spartans on the call today. Now, we're not going to go too far in the weeds on this. However, I think that there's some important messages from Spartan, and I want you guys to hear from some of the team members that did the Spartan. Now, by show of hands, how many people have ever done any type of athletic challenge, any type of Spartan, any type of marathon, half a marathon, 10K, 5K, whatever type of fitness challenge you've ever done, right? So I had never done a Spartan, and you start out, you're super, super excited. You got the team there. You're at the starting line. You start out, there's the very first hurdle. I'll let George talk about that very first hurdle. Got over that. And then you have to do weighted burpees. Now, burpees I find to be one of the most challenging workouts out of every single workout I've ever done. I find burpees to be one of the challenges. Well, then you have to take a 50-pound weight and do with the 50-pound weight. All right, well, you continue on. One of the very first obstacles was this giant pyramid like this, and it was like a net climb. Right? You had to climb to the top, you had to get to the top. Well, I thought that having something that high up, and it was really hard to get your footing, you have to go way up, and then you have to turn your body around and come back down the big arch. I thought there would be some type of protection for anybody that would fall, right? Because the squares on it, to give you some context, the squares were really, really big. So you have to hold one. When you put your hand on it or you put your foot on, if somebody else was going up at the same time, it moved the thing. And so you're like, oh no. And like, so fear overcomes you because here's why. And this is when we first started the race. This had to have been number 3. And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. Juan, correct me. Number 3 or number 4 of our obstacles. So you're up there. And I thought there would be some type of precautionary measures to support us. It was straight concrete down below. And you guys, you're going up and you're looking at the water and the thing is moving, and all I could think, I'm not going to speak for everybody. All you can think is that if I fall, there is nothing protect. This is going to hurt so bad. I'm probably going to break something. I'm probably going to break something. But like that initial fear that set in early on, like you're already up there, you're already committed. So you have to keep going. Well, anyways, as you continue on, it got harder, it got harder, it got harder. When you think about Oracle Park and you think about the amount of stairs, you can look all the way up and you see people climbing up these stairs. Well, at one time they give you 70 pounds and you have to go up the stairs, go up the stairs, go up the stairs. Now, what you can't do is you can't look to the right, you can't look to the left because you see the people all the way across the stadium that are going up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs. Because if you look too far out, you're thinking, you know what, this is so challenging, I don't want to do this, this really sucks, I'm going to stop, right? Like the part of you goes through this mental battle. So it's like almost every single step that I took, I had to tell myself, all right, one more step, one more step, one more step, one more step. And that was that message and that internal voice the entire time. It was like, one more, one more, one more. And you got the weight and then you drop the weight. And now you have to go do, I don't know how many more flights of stairs. It must have been 100, right? But the point of this, for me, in my experience, is that at the end of the day, you were up against yourself. It wasn't a race. It was a race with everything that you were capable from within, right? You had to dig deep. You had to have those conversations with yourself and you say, you know what? I've got this. I've got this. I've got this. I'm running my race. I'm running my race. And then to be able to finish the race, it was such a really powerful moment for all of us, but we all had our own different experiences. And so I was trying to find the correlation with that in business, that's what this business is. You guys are going to go through a ton of different obstacles, ton of different hurdles. There are going to be times where you get socked in the face. You're going to get times where you fall down. But I tell you what, it's not about looking to the right. It's not about looking to the left. It's not about looking down below. It's about keeping focus on what is in front of me. All I needed to do is go one more flight of stairs, one more flight of stairs, one more flight of stairs. I needed to run one more ramp. I needed to do one more thing. And that was the message I took out of Spartan. You guys, 43, just turned 43 last week, been working out quite a bit my whole life. I feel like I'm fit, but not at the highest level. And it also showed me gaps in my own game, right? And now how do I correlate to business? I'm thinking like, what are the gaps in my game? Well, I couldn't hold on at the final thing to do the rope climb. Maybe I'm a little bit too heavy. Maybe I just didn't have it in me, or maybe I didn't have the endurance. Like, what are the things in your business that might be holes in the game? Maybe it's a listing presentation. Maybe it's your closing skills. Maybe it's your consistency. Maybe it's your calendaring. Whatever it is, I was able to identify holes in my game, and now I can work on it. And so a lot of reflections, a lot of great experiences. And so I wanted to open this up and have some of our Spartans talk about their experiences and what they went through mentally, because what we see is the physical part of it. We're fucking sweating. Oh, you got this, climb over that wall, hop over this, do the rings, do that. We see all the physical, but I don't know the stories that are going on in everyone's head. I don't know that. And so what I would like to do, if you guys wouldn't mind, I would like to hear some of what was going on mentally while we're doing it. And Dan, I would love for you to start this session off. And Spartans, if you guys have an ability to chime in, don't want to spend too much time here, but I think that there's some power in this message. And so Dan, if you would, my brother, start us off. Would love to hear from you. And then Alejandra, I'm going to come to you, and George and V, and then we'll end up with Kwanzaa. But let's hear it, Dan Sundberg.
Yeah, so there are two kind of things that I was thinking of during the race and afterwards. And one was I was really glad to be doing it with other people, to be doing it with you all for a variety of reasons. One, it was just more fun, always more fun to accomplish big things with other people. But two, like halfway through it, I think me and Kwan were kind of running together for quite a bit, and Kwan started zipping up the stairs as we were going through like every single bleacher in the entire stadium. And so as I saw him starting to pull away, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get you, Kwan. I'm gonna get you. And so just like him going fast was pushing me to go fast. I think at one point, Kwan, I don't know if you heard me, but I was yelling at you like, Kwan, I'm gonna get you. I'm coming down the stairs. I'm gonna get you. And it was really fun to have someone else to push and push and push. And I think if we hadn't been doing it together, probably would have just trotted up him or whatever. So doing hard things to me is always just a lot easier when you've got other people to push you along with it too. And the second thought for this is I always really like doing hard stuff like this because it always just makes the other things in life feel a lot easier. And just like, oh, that was difficult. Now, like everything else, like this isn't too bad. Doing another exercise, not too bad. It's not as bad as this. And really like lets you kind of push the high water mark of your own abilities, or at least just put you back into context of what you can accomplish. So I always love doing those sorts of things just for that context too.
I love it. I love it. And hear what Dan said. So every single bleacher, every single flight of stairs, when you think about the whole entire stadium, they made us run. They made us run and go up, like every single one. So I love that, Dan. And there were certain groups of people that were kind of staying together. But most of it, obviously, it's a solitary race inside your mind. And so, Dan, what were the points where it got hard, where you said, you know what, I have to dig deep? And what was that message to yourself?
I mean, the thing I actually struggled with the weighted burpees the most. I haven't had a gym membership in 4 years. And so upper body strength on that sort of like the Olympic weights is just like, oh man, this is not going to be fun. And so like 3 in, I was like, I could probably be done at 3, right? But just had to keep going and saying, no, I'm just going to take this really easy. And I'm looking to the right, and there's Elias like throwing it up in the air like it's nothing. And I'm like, no, I just gotta do my own pace, gotta do my own. So that the weighted burpees was very early on the point where I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do this all the way through. But it's just like, nope, just take it easy, do my own pace. I'll finish it. If everyone else finishes before me, that's fine. And just got through it. It was painful and it hurts a lot right now, but just pacing it and doing it on my own was the way to go.
All right, guys, here's the thing. And I want to tell the hero's journey, and the hero in this particular part of the story is Dan. So we all did the Spartan 2 days ago. Yesterday should have been a recovery day. Well, we're still all in a group chat. I'm asking people, how are you doing? You sore? Dan's like, well, I was sore, but I took a 14-mile run and now I'm sore. So the day after the Spartan, he takes a 14-mile run. So humbly he shares. But Dan, I appreciate your contribution. Alejandra, let's hear from you. Let's hear your vantage point, what you went through, kind of the struggles along the way, and I want to hear from you.
Man, I don't want to see a set of bleachers for the rest of my life. That was
right.
Something different. I mean, this was the second Spartan race that I've done, and I feel like this one was just so much more challenging, especially with rain. What I thought I was going to be able to do, because I was able to do it in the past, like the monkey bars and the rings, like I wasn't even able to do it this one. So I definitely did a lot more burpees. But it was a lot of fun. We pushed each other, and shout out to you, Elias, for helping me get over those big walls. Because I think it was like 2 of them that I definitely was not. It was not it. But it was super fun. And then as I kept going up the bleachers, like, man, do I want to keep doing this? And I would look around, and everyone was, tired. But I was like, nah, let's keep pushing through. Let's push through. We got this. It's almost done. And just throughout it, like whenever we ran into one another, it was always like, you got this, go. And like, everyone, George too, like he was like, come on, like push yourself, like you're good, you got this. So it was a good event.
I love it. And yeah, we definitely lean on each other. It's hard to keep everyone together because we all run at different paces, but I appreciate that. Let's hear from George, and let's hear from Quan. George, are you still on?
Yeah. So
what's up, big dog? Let's hear it, man.
What's up? So I just have to say, I'm so proud of myself and everyone that did it, because that shit was hard. Like my body is hurting. I'm so sore. But honestly, that was probably one of my biggest goals. When I first started my weight journey a few years ago, I was 420 when I started. And then I was like, damn, I want to do that. So I feel like I did a lot better than I thought. I was psyching myself out and getting in my own head, in the sense that even before when we were kind of like going down closer to the finish line, I was telling myself like, damn, oh my God, like what did I get myself into? I was like psyching myself out. But then when I was looking at the leaderboard and seeing where I finished, I was like, damn, people finished this in like 33 minutes, 30 minutes. And then I looked at my time and I was like, oh shit, 1:04. Like, okay, that's like double, but that's not too far off. And I was like, I could definitely go faster next time. And it was hard, like looking around and watching other people. Like I could hear people like say, fuck this, I'm done, I'm tapped out, where's the exit? And you're like getting in your head and you're like, oh shit, like, do I keep going or do I keep pushing through it? And then when you're doing the burpees, you're like, okay, cool, no one's counting. So in my head, I was like at 10 and I was like, you know what, I'm supposed to do 15, maybe I can get away with it. But I told myself, like, if you cheat yourself on this, like, you're gonna know, no one else is gonna know, but you're gonna know. And then when you tell people, oh, you did this race, like, oh, I did the burpees, you're gonna know you cheated yourself. So I told myself, like, no, you're doing all these burpees. And as I was doing them, I was like, actually, these burpees are a little bit easier than I anticipated. But it was nice to really push through it. And if you look at everyone in our group that went, it's people that don't normally do run deals together, partner together. It's everyone that kind of just came together. And it's like, you wouldn't have guessed that we all don't spend that much time together because of the way that we were encouraging each other and lifting each other up. And then also too, I ate shit on the very first obstacle. Literally the first hurdle I jumped over, I ate shit, flipped, and fell hard on my ass. And literally I was just like, damn, on the first hurdle, this is probably on the big screen, but all you had to do was just like get your ass up and keep going. And once I just got back up and kept running, my adrenaline was in it, that I just kept pushing through it. But
It wasn't, all
overall,
right, hold on. It wasn't you fell on your ass, bro. You got a full body flop, man. Like,
yeah,
I was worried about you. Like,
I did. I thought like I would have broken something. Like it was on my whole side. Like it was like as if I like laid down on the side like that. I was like, damn. But honestly, now
so George fell over the first hurdle. I'm like, you good? You good? He's like, I'm good. I'm good. And then there was another hurdle right after that. He falls over that one. I'm like, you good? But still, just powered through.
yeah, no, but hey, honestly, it's just like when this business hits you hard, just get your ass up and keep doing it. Because now that I finished, I even told, like, me and Dan were talking in Blackwood after, we're like, you know what, actually, let's complete this. Like, I'm down. I told him in the next 10 months, I'm down to go do that Tahoe one, which I think he said is 14 miles. I've never done something like that in my life. But I told myself, if I could do this Spartan run, why not complete the entire trifecta?
I love this. I absolutely love it. Great message, George. Hopefully you soak in some Epsom salt so you're not so not so sore. Let's hear from one other person, and we're going to continue cruising on because there's some important messages here. So Kwanzo, let's hear from you, and then we're going to shift gears.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's ready to crush it this week. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a beautiful experience on Saturday, and for me, like, I started my journey in 2018, and the SF Stadium was my first race. I met a gentleman, the retired Marine in Hawaii, and we were just talking, and he told me about a Spartan. I got intrigued, and and then we met up back over here in the Bay Area. We signed up, and then I was hooked ever since. But this is actually the first time I actually did it, like, with a family, you know what I mean? Because for me, it's always been like more of a solitary thing. Because like my wife doesn't really do it that much, and my friends are like, I've had a couple of times they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it with you, and everyone flakes. So and just going back to like how this relates back to our business, I think one of the challenging ones still for sure is the one when they had the sandbag, right? I think it's I don't know for this one, maybe it was 75 for the men. And so you're going up those stairs and going, just like echoing on what Elias, what you're saying, if you look up, you're going to get discouraged. You're like, holy fuck, I still got so many more stairs left. Your leg will probably start buckling, and you start thinking about, like, start focusing on the negative, start focusing on like maybe your thighs start burning and all this other stuff. But if you literally just like look down, look like maybe one or two a step forward and just keep going up, just take one step at a time, and know in the back of your mind that you're going to reach that pinnacle at some point, right? And you're getting, every step you take, you're getting one step closer to that pinnacle versus coming back down. It really helps you to keep moving forward. So I was thinking about that, like in business. All right, you have a game plan, you have your business plan. but then you don't necessarily have to look at that business plan every single day, because you know you build it out from the annual to the quarterly to the monthly to the weekly, and then you just follow your game plan, maybe like revisit every once in a while, because if you keep on looking at that like far-reaching goal, it's maybe easier to get discouraged, right? So that's one thing. I think the other thing for me is like the importance of leaning on to your to your family, to your teammates, and how that like what they say, birds of a feather flock together. If you're like amongst the people who are really making things happen, and like if you feel like you are, if you want to challenge yourself, that's why you got to hang out with people that are better than you, right? So like, and to what Dan was saying, like for me, I was like, well, shoot, I'm not gonna try super hard on this one. I'm just gonna hang out with the fam, and this is really more about camaraderie and team building. When I first signed up for this, like months and months ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for my best time. But then, when I started doing the bleachers and Dan started like catching up, we started having this like friendly competition. It definitely just took it to a whole different level, and it made it much more enjoyable, and more fruitful through the experience as well. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And V, you are not alone. We were there for you. We guys all kind of lost each other at some point. And so we all saw each other at the finish line. But here's the thing, and it's important that we have this message, because I want everybody, no matter where you are in your fitness journey, or whether or not you're on a journey, I believe that part of your success in 2003 and moving on is going to be you truly focusing on your fitness, whether that's 2 times a week, whether that's cutting out sugar, whether that is running, walking, whatever it is, you guys. Like, I'm doing 75-day hard. Some of the times it's literally walking for 45 minutes to get that second exercise in. Well, that's a few miles down. Whether that's riding a bike for 45 minutes, that's 8 miles I've been able to do in 45 minutes. So the idea is to really think about your life moving forward. Like, how am I giving back to myself? How am I giving back to myself? I really took a lot out of Spartan. I had a fun time with it. And so we're going to do more of these things, just like we did Mission Peak, just like we did Spartan. I think every quarter, twice a quarter, I'm going to put something on the calendar, and hopefully we can all come together and do something and, push ourselves in this coming year, because it was really cool to see everyone out there, and I took a lot out of it. So let's switch gears. I saw something, you guys, and it stood out to me, and I want to share this thought with you. Experience is great, but it is not synonymous with expertise. Experience is great, but it's not synonymous with expertise. Expertise means that you're doing exhaustive market research, understanding consumer trends, psychology, communication, relevancy, and the patterns of what is actually happening in today's market. So I want to share a thought with you, and I want to share a video idea with you guys. And I was inspired because I just got this green screen. Now, this green screen goes on behind my chair. And so I could just sit here, create my content like I do, and I have this portable green screen that goes anywhere with me. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to look at your market. We've talked about this. I see some of you doing it, but I'd like to see this at scale this week. So when we think about expertise, it's not that interest rates are low. It's not call me, hey, if you're ever in need of anything real estate related, that's good and well. But how are you today going to demonstrate that you are a doctor, right? How are you going to demonstrate that? So I want to ask you right now, in the market that you choose to serve, whether it's Southern California, whether it's Union City, whether it's San Francisco, whether it's the Mission, whether it's Citrus Heights, wherever you are on this call, I want you to ask yourself, how many homes are for sale in a price point? Let's say 600 to 750. How many condos have hit the market in the last 30 days? What has been the price reduction in homes in that market over the last 30 days? How many days are the houses typically sitting on the market right now? Like, are you able to demonstrate a level of expertise in your market? And have you created a video with that as the green screen and you sharing what is actually going on in the market? Some of you are doing this at a really, really high level, and I'm seeing some amazing content. And I think right now is that what we need to do is say, how can this messaging attract the people that I really want to attract? Meaning, whether this is a first-time home buyer, whether this is mitigating fear, whatever the message is that you're truly, truly passionate about conveying to a consumer, like, are they able to learn that from you if they go to your social media? I think that's a huge opportunity for all of us. And here's why. All of you serve different areas at some sense, right? We all live, some of us live close by, but like, look on the screen here. We have Southern California, we have Sacramento, we have Tahoe, we have Martinez, we have Central Valley, we have Oakland, right? We have Irvine. So you guys have all these markets. Do a report and make it fun. Because here's the thing, most market update reports are boring. The coolest one that I've seen is by David Stark, but that's just my opinion. Most of them are relatively boring and they don't have personality and they don't have flair. They don't have you. They don't have an Andrea Lamadora Mama Son on there speaking about what's actually happening. So I want to encourage you guys, I want to push you guys to create something this week in your living room with a green screen, or go to the office and create something that is indicative to showcasing how you are an expert in your market. What we're going to do moving forward is we're going to do this for you, but I'm giving you a precursor. What we're going to do is we're going to pull all the data, facts, figures. You can go into the office and you can create your own market reports. Now, we're not there yet, but let me ask you guys all a question. Why is it a good time to purchase in the month of November, right? Why is it, December? Why is it a really good time for people to get into a home right now, right? Like, we all know that there's some huge opportunities for negotiation. This is when serious buyers are out. Like, this is a wonderful time for people to get into contract. So share that with consumers. You guys have some ideas, you guys have some thoughts. You guys should be looking at your data every single day, understanding what's happening, what are the market trends, what is going on, and doing your research every single day. That way you can spit fire and speak and be articulate about what's going on in the market. So I want to give you guys a quick scenario, and I changed the numbers. I've protected it just to make sure that I am not giving real facts and statistics right now. So I'm going to give you guys a scenario, and I want everyone on this call to put on their listing agent hat. I don't care if you've done a deal or if you've not done a deal. I want you to put your listing agent hat on. So you have a house that is listed for, let's say, $400,000. All right, your house is listed at $400,000. You get an offer that is an FHA offer. It's cool. This house can accept an FHA offer, so we know that. The buyer writes the offer with all contingencies in place for 12 days. All right, so not too bad. Those contingency windows aren't too bad, but it's asking for a $12,000 seller credit. Okay, so do the math. What percentage is that client asking for in seller credits for their client? What would you do in this scenario as a listing agent? How would you counter them? What would be your approach? What would you do if this was your property and you were going back to that agent and negotiating? Okay, so it's 3%. On an FHA loan, how much is the down payment? Anybody chime in, and you guys can take yourself off of mute. We'll have
3.5.
3.5%. Okay, cool. So the buyer's client is asking for almost 100% of that. I mean, let's say 2.9, 2.8%, or whatever that number is, of the closing costs, or the credit to be given by the seller towards closing costs. How would you guys counter this offer? How would you counter this? Because I want you to think about it this way. This might be you writing an offer, or this is hopefully you with this listing looking at different offers. What would you guys do? Take yourself off of mute, chime in. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Depends on the seller situation. All right, so walk me through this. I'll give you some context here. Ask me some questions. I'll give you some answers about the seller.
You asking me, Elias?
Yep.
I mean, it totally depends on the seller. Like, I had a seller take $100,000 price cut because she just needed to sell. we had to get her out of that house ASAP. There was a really terrible situation she was in and we had to get her out. For her, it was not about the price. It was about having a really clean, easy escrow. So for her, that 3% is no big deal. She also had a lot of equity in the home. So if it had been a seller that was more like, oh, I'll wait till I get the price I want, I'm not going to do any seller credits, that's a totally different situation, right? So I just more
Yeah.
fun.
So for context here, so the seller, so this offer that I'm talking about here, it's right at list price. Well, when you minus out the 12,000, it's nowhere near that. So the client needs to come in and they need to net 390,000, right? So 390,000 based on that 12,000 seller credit, they're not there yet. So there's definitely some wiggle room there. Cam, what's your input on this? And I appreciate you guys saying, give me more color on this. Go ahead, Cam.
Is my
You're good.
Wi-Fi okay?
You're good. You're good, Cam. We're not that good, Cam. We're gonna go to Otis.
Is my Wi-Fi okay? Okay.
It's better now.
I would call the
Try one more
Okay.
time, Cam.
I would call, I'm gonna turn my video off. I would call the buyer's agent and figure out how much the buyer can come up and if the loan amount that they gave is their max.
Yep. Okay, cool.
And
Noted.
depending on what their absolute max is, then I can come back to the seller and say, well, we can either negotiate on the closing cost credit, or we can ask them to come up in purchase price so that we can meet what their desired amount is. Now, of course, you'd have to make sure appraisal wise it would come in at if they were to come up, let's say $2,000. If they're asking for a $12,000 credit, they need only a difference of $2,000, so they can either negotiate on the closing credits or negotiate on the purchase price. And talking to the buyer's agent and figuring that out about the buyer is going to help you figure out how to counter them best so that you're not in a back and forth counter situation.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love it. Love it. Let's hear from, let's see here. Anna Oliver, you had chimed in.
I would counter them back and tell them to write the offer at 412 and then give the 12,000 closing costs. As long as they could write it at that, then I'd be okay with it.
Okay. And why would you be okay with it?
Because the numbers are going to balance right back out. It's not
Totally.
going to be a problem. It's not going to be a shortage when they close.
Cool. Love it. Love it. Kwanzo and then Otis.
I mean, I will go back to that what Cynthia is saying, really understand the motivation. How motivated is the seller? Does the seller need to move, or they just want to move?
She just needs to sell. She doesn't need to move. She needs to sell. She doesn't live there anymore.
Oh, okay, so it's vacant, and then she needs to sell, and then also how much equity does she have, right? So it's like is she set on that net of the 390? Is that an absolute?
Yeah, so she's set on that, but at the end of the day, if she got a little bit less, she could. But I think that there's room to negotiate, obviously, on that 12 Gs. That's covering that. That's saying that they're literally coming out of pocket with no down payment. I mean, right. That's a really, really small amount that's coming out of pocket.
Right.
And I would request that the offer be sent with proof of funds. They didn't even submit proof of funds.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, like there's got to be some skin in the game. I look at it that way, but I know that we're in a different style market.
The
right?
Is how many days on market has it been? 3. Oh, yeah, you can definitely do what what's her name was saying. Yeah, just go ahead and.
So 3 days on the market, and this is a listing that I took for a friend. There's 5 offers on the table. That's why I'm getting your guys' feedback on it, and it hasn't even been on. This is the 3rd. This will be going into the 4th day today.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have room for negotiation at this point because you got plenty of time. you're well within the regular days on market. So
100%. Jeff, let's hear from you guys. And I love all the hands and the thoughts. I just want to see where your guys' thoughts are and what you guys would do in this scenario.
I keep getting
Yeah.
skipped, bro.
Oh,
One more time,
yeah.
Jeff?
No, that was Otis. You want to go before me? Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead, do your thing.
All right. So what I would say is that, like, especially if she got it, well, one, if we were taking it out of context and like say it was a little bit longer and stuff like that, and this was your offer that you got to kind of work with, or maybe there's one or two and the other one's not as good, you may not even have to go all the way up to 412. You could go to like 405, still net 390, and then tell them like, for that, we just need you to either remove or lessen your inspection contingency period. Because then the next thing is, I don't want you negotiating based off of now something came up in the report and now you had 12 that we guaranteed before when we got into contract, and now you asked for an additional 5 because something else came up. So it's like, cool, I can give you the 405. We still threaten then 390, especially if it wasn't 3 days on market. But if it's like one we got to work with, but you gotta give me something too. And that comes from Andrew Roos. I was sitting in the backyard while he was negotiating, and then he was like, nah, so if we're gonna give them a little bit more, they got to give us something too. So we're gonna go, and they removed their contingencies. They came up, they got a little bit more, and they removed the contingency. So
I love it. Otis, let's hear from you, big dog. And you know, I am so excited to hear from you guys. Like, we never have these style conversations, and I wrote here, I'm like, let's do more scenarios, because look at how many hands have gone up. And so I love this. Otis, let's hear from you, bro.
Got to do your homework first. You say you got 5 offers.
Yeah.
Take the time to communicate with those agents. Look in to see exactly what you're getting yourself into. You could go ahead and think you're going with the best offer, but then get into contract and fall out. So you definitely want to make sure that you have those proof of funds in there. As far as seeing exactly where they're capped at, if they're got more to give you, then don't sell yourself short. You can even net your seller a little bit more if you take the time to do your homework. Also, pay attention to the opposite agent's number. They might be a new agent and not know how to communicate, not know how to negotiate. Those are big things. Also, doing your homework, the days on market, knowing your area. Me and Stephanie just had a deal where I called out bullshit. Hey, it's only been on the market for 3 days. I don't think that she has an offer that came in on Thanksgiving Day. I don't think someone came way up here in the mountains to come see this. So doing those things will definitely see where you're at as far as what you got coming towards you, and narrowing it out to see exactly how much equity, what's the bottom number that your seller can go with, and trying to see if you can bid up a war. If you got 5 offers, now if you only got an offer, then I would suggest really taking your time to see what that person's giving you. But if you got 5 on the table, you got to maximize your profits.
So I appreciate you saying this. So a couple things here. So I told Amanda, I said, listen, I want you to, because we came up with the pricing strategy 3 weeks ago. And I said, every single week, I want you to look at the comps. I want you to look at the comps. I want to make sure that we are still exactly where we need to be for this market, and the comps still support that. What I've noticed in the Central Valley, and you guys help me out, and I don't know why this is this case in the Central Valley. Every single offer in the Central Valley, people submit buyer letters. I'm like, be careful. If you're on this team, do not submit a buyer letter. I will not look at the buyer letter. I will not even think about looking at the buyer letter, because we're not allowed to put buyer letters in anymore. It's the norm, every single one, and pictures of the kids and the families. I'm like, wait a minute, like, who's updating you? Who's updating you on that? And so you heard right. This changed a couple years back, Stephanie, that we can no longer include buyer letters due to fair housing, because somebody might discriminate or choose a letter based on how people look, ethnicity, background, so on and so forth. So if you're on this call right now, please do not include any buyer's letter. I'm surprised by it, but thank you for the insight, Otis. Appreciate you. Elisa, Andrew, Joellen, Colette, and we'll come full circle.
Okay, so we'll look at every offer. First of all, know the motivation of the seller, right? Because every time we say 3 days on the market, but it's going to take 30 days to close escrow, will this mean another mortgage payment for the seller? That means another $3,000. So all of that comes in consideration, I will probably do multiple counter offers if you have 2 or 3 that are really close, and let them compete. And I will always set a price. I won't say highest and best. Based on each buyer, I will go and say, for example, I like to meet in the middle sometimes. Let's say if you only had 1 offer, let's say come up to 406 and half and half, meet in the middle, seller and buyer. Definitely proof of funds. Inspections, you can do inspections in 7 days or less if you have your inspectors ready to go. So we'll definitely cut the inspections, make sure all of that is done. Underwriter pre-approval letter, make sure they have gone through the whole process. And that way you know that you're gonna close in 25, 30 days. So every day that it sits on the market, it costs money to the seller, especially if it's not paid off. So I will do that. I will look at the top 2, the top 3, multiple counters, set up a price for each of them and let them come up.
Yep, love it, love it. Andrew Lynn, let's hear from you. Good to see you, big dog.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Irvine office, so it's been
I see
awesome.
it, yeah.
Anyways, I think also communicating with the buyer's agent as well too, and lender. And I think that's been important for me as a listing agent, is finding out the motivation of the buyers too, and figuring out why they're looking to move, and what they're going to be using the credits for. I mean, granted, the listing agent may not say, but at least sometimes if they can give you some information and see what the insight into the buyer and on how they strategized and put together their offer is also helpful too, to see how communication is with the buyer's agent, and also how smooth of an escrow it can be. Because if they're going to be negotiating for credits, like how is it going to be during escrow? Are they going to be asking for other things as well too? Or if it's just for a 2-1 buy down or for other things like that, I think is super helpful. I think the other thing is also checking with the lender as well too, and seeing the financial capabilities and how well the lender communicates as well too.
Yeah, cool. I'll give you guys some insight here. I had 3 of the lenders call me as before they even submitted the agent even submitted the offer. They called me, want to introduce themselves. Like I thought it was really cool. But what I haven't seen yet is I haven't seen one video introduction from an agent. And I was looking for that, right? Like I would want that from you guys to say, just want to introduce myself. We haven't had an opportunity to meet. I'm really looking forward to, getting my clients into contract. If you need anything, let me know. There was none of that yet, but yeah, Andrew, that communication is super, super important, that intro. Joanne, let me hear from you. Joel, did you get new wallpaper?
No, I already had it.
Oh, okay. It's cute. Sorry, go on.
Thank you. So the same, I would just basically thank them for their offer, see how well the agent communicates. If it's a really good offer and they're willing to lessen the contingency period, put 3% EMD in, maybe up to 1.5% back, as long as we have proof of funds, and just see how committed they are in putting their money up front.
Totally. And one of the requests is that the EMD is in within 24 hours, just to really see how serious these people are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. Love it, Colette. And by the way, Colette and I had a conversation last week, and wanting to take her content to new levels. I thought that the last video that you made about Oakland, I thought it was one of the best videos you've made, and you've made a lot of videos. That's just my opinion, though. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I had a similar situation on my current listing, which God willing will close this week, where a buyer's agent didn't barely introduce herself. She called, she got right to business, didn't build rapport. Her client wanted the world on a platter. We kind of went back and forth. We had a couple counters back and forth. And ultimately, she wanted to keep that contingency in place, that inspection contingency, and she wanted an additional $5,000 after we had dropped the price 30 and given her additional 15 to kind of take care of some sewer lateral stuff. And then she was going to come back, and I know it should, they were going to keep nickel and diming it the whole way. Well, luckily, I had a buyer come along and who loved it, and so we worked out something with somebody else. But I think that in your case, with 3 days on the market and multiple offers, definitely a multi-counter, sort of blind, and they don't know how many offers you're countering. They're gonna be more apt to be serious and bring their offer up, whether you ask for a specific number or highest and best. So I would definitely hit him back with that. And what did you say? It was only $2,000 difference?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to blow up a deal over $2,000, but
no,
yeah.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation because we are in the era of negotiations, right? When we think about last year, when you guys submitted an offer, it was just the wild, wild west. We didn't have the ability, but like hearing the fact that you guys are being able to look at angles, look at this in a completely different way, and being able to say, well, hold on a second. If I was this, or if I was that, or if I was the buyer's agent, I'd be doing this. This just shows me that you guys are truly, truly negotiating at the high level. And so at the highest level, and this is an important part of your guys' game right now, right? An important part of your game. So I'm very inspired this morning by hearing everything that you guys are talking about, because everyone is looking at it from a different vantage point. You guys all mentioned different things. Some of them were a little bit similar, but at the end of the day, you guys are looking at the scenario. And I always think of you all as like scientists. You're thinking about like, what is the right method? What is the right formula? What is the right strategy for this particular client? And every deal, every scenario is different, right? Every deal, every scenario is different. There's always going to be some commonalities, but most of the time it's a science project that you're putting together and figuring out the winning formula. And so really appreciate you guys' contributions. I'll keep everybody in the loop as to how this develops and the course of action that happens next. That way you guys are in the loop and we can go full circle on this. But I want to give you guys some actions to do today. I think this is important. The video. And like I said, create a green screen video about the relevancy, about what's actually happening in your market right now. Homes for sale, average sales price, houses with a price reduction, so on and so forth. Also, here's the actions for today. Go into Real Scout, go into KV Core, go into Follow Up Boss, and find out who has searched for a house in the last 72 hours. Even if there's somebody that they did not want to purchase a home, those are opportunities for you to call, text, email, send a video based on their behaviors. Because the great thing about those three platforms is that we're able to see consumer behaviors, patterns, and how many times they're viewing and opening emails and viewing homes. Leverage that right now and go in and start contacting those people. You guys should already start sending out your Christmas videos. And what I mean by that, what's up, Stephanie? What's up, Adrian? It's Elias. Just before the holidays hit, I just want to wish you and the family a very happy holiday season. Hopefully all is well, right? These things should start happening now, and start like making some schedules, making it a part of your schedule this week to start sending all of your holiday messages out. This is a great time. So recap on this. Create something along the lines of what's actually happening in your particular market. Days on the market, house price reductions, homes for sale, new homes for sale, so on and so forth. Go into Real Scout, Follow Up Boss, as well as Real Scout, and look at Real Scout, Follow Up Boss, and KV Core, excuse me. Look at patterns, look at trends, look at how often they've been searching for homes, and communicate based on that. Someone put themselves on mute, please. Ilona, you had your hand up. Let's hear from you really quick.
Yeah, I had a quick question. So I did the follow-up boss with Dan last week, the in-person, and it was incredibly helpful, but I have some questions and I'm wondering if we can get someone from Follow-Up Boss who can come in and do a session with the team, because even with Dan's help, there was some stuff that was like really gold nuggets, like how do you create an action plan that does automated emails for your CRM? And we were not able to really dive into that because that's kind of an unknown subject, which leads me to believe that there's 300 people on our FAST team that are not using automated follow-up the right way. And I think that that in itself is something that we should just have a class on. So I'm wondering if we can do that.
Yeah, 100%. There's already thoughts and ideas on this. So Dan and I will communicate and get something on the calendar, but 100% absolutely yes. And KV Core, for the people that do use KV Core, because we know there's a population of agents that don't use Follow Up Boss and that use KV Core, there's an AI feature that is doing prospecting for you in KV Core. So there's a lot of programs out there, but yeah, you're right, Ilona. We just have to understand how to use it, because what works is what we actually work and use and utilize. But if we get to the point where the CRM becomes more cumbersome and it's just a placeholder for phone numbers and people, that's not how it's designed to be used. And so, yes, Ilona, we'll definitely put something on the calendar. We're also coming out with a new like Kickstart program starting on the 1st. And part of that is going to be including Follow Up Boss training as well. So Ilona, 100%, we agree, we hear you, we see this, we've identified some opportunities for growth. So yes, yes, and yes again. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up the session. I want to go around the room, hear from a couple of you, just hear some of your takeaways from today's time together. Adrian, Relisa, rapid fire. Hopefully your event went well despite the rain. I saw the pictures. So Adrian, rapid fire, key takeaways from today's time together. Almost, you there?
Sorry, you know what? I was like doing stuff on our call, but basically for me, I mean, just learning from experience, we're always learning from every single transaction, and we just have to perfect it every single time, you know, just take notes. I've been leaning more on my team. I could learn from them a lot, even the new agents. I learn a lot from them as well. So just collaborating more, being open to, you know, just working together. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So I got a couple of transactions that I'm working on with the team. So I'm excited.
Love it. We're excited for you, and your event looked cool. And despite the rain, you guys were still out there doing your thing. So I appreciate you. Stephanie, let's hear from you. Key takeaways from today's session. Stephanie Henry.
I'd say for me, I really liked the discussion on what you guys would do with the offer that you had mentioned. Because my thoughts originally were, okay, if I want to try to request for seller credits and whatnot, it would have to have X amount of days on the market. But now I see that, okay, well, maybe if it's an early listing, then I could go ahead and just increase the price, but still get enough for closing credits so my buyers could still have money in their pocket. So I really like that. So that was the biggest takeaway for me.
I thought it was bold to ask for almost all of your closing costs covered on the second day of it being on the market. I thought it was really bold, right? But it's like, okay, let's do that. And I know that they'll probably be like, okay, they're probably going to counter us, but let's ask for everything. And maybe they'll get us in the middle, and then their buyer is happy. So I get the strategy. I see it for both sides. So
that's where I'm a little hesitant, where I'm just like, well, if I do try that, because I was just thinking about it, I was like, okay, if I do that, try that, because I'm going to have a buyer's consultation this week. I was just thinking, okay, am I going to suggest to go ahead and increase the price of the listing, or just stay at it and hope that they'll be their only one ticket to counter? But
and here's the thing, and this is for everybody, and I appreciate the contribution, Stephanie. If you guys are submitting an offer that is, here, let me just put it this way. When submitting an offer, my advice, my recommendation is that you do not include the pre-approval letter that tells the listing agent the entire amount that the client is approved for. Have your client adjust the pre-approval letter based on what you are submitting, right? Because what do you see as a listing agent? Well, wait a minute. They got way more room on this. I know that I could probably squeeze a little bit more out. Always have them say, hey, I need a customized letter for this offer amount, not showing me that there's $90,000 more in their pre-approval letter. I'm just saying that for you guys to know when you're submitting it, submit and have them put that on the line. Not the whole
You know
time.
what though? That's hurt me before. I've done that technique and I ended up not even getting counter offered because my pre-approval was not high enough for what they thought they even wanted to counter. So it could go both ways there. And so just keep that in mind.
It is, it's 100%, it's your choice, you guys, your choice. But I'm just, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, I know that there's some more money there. but it's completely up to you. That's just my thought. Cynthia, you had your hand up, then Kwanzaa.
Yeah, sorry, I know we're getting close to time, so I'll be really quick. There's a lot of information here that was shared that is also in the first round of our boot camp. That is like how to be a realtor 101. Because I saw some confused looks and that worries me. And if you guys are ever confused, look at all these people that are here to help you strategize and here to make sure that when you do write an offer, it's clean and has more of a chance of getting accepted. Do not ever hesitate to reach out to any of these people or on Slack and be like, hey, can someone just help me really quick and have your facts ready to go? That way we can help you in a prompt manner.
Totally. Absolutely. Kwanzaa.
Yeah, just really quick on Lona's point. I think, that's very true. Maybe 3 months ago, up to 3 months ago, but the market has definitely shifted. So the serious sellers that are really looking to offload, like in your situation, Elias, where someone is, the home is vacant, it's not, it's not owner occupied, right? They're going to move or they're going to sell. They're much more willing to entertain an offer, and so so it's much easier to negotiate. So, I think to Elias, your point, yeah, like I never put it, if you put it too high, then people are gonna, well, yeah, then I can just ask for this higher price.
Yeah. And so you guys, so tons of thoughts here. And if you don't know how to strategize, then ask for help. If you don't know how to negotiate, read a book. There's a book out there, Never Split the Difference. We've talked about that over and over again. You can also listen to podcasts. Tons of things that you guys can hear. Look at any of Janine Driver's work. This is the era of us being able to communicate and negotiate at a level that we've never been able to. And so if you are uncertain on the terms, how to really write a competitive offer, like Cynthia said, lean inward, lean to your mentor, lean to Karina, lean to me. There's so many opportunities out there for you to learn, because what we want to do is we always want to make sure that we're giving our clients the best fighting chance on both sides of the table. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all of your contributions. I'll come full. I just want to use this as a training platform. So once we have more things develop in this deal, I'll keep you guys all up to date, because I think that there's some cool lessons to be learned here. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. For those that are going to be at the Fast Forward movement today, I'll see you guys in a little bit. But as always, you guys keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. And if you need anything at all, I am 100% here for you. Looking forward to seeing your guys' videos this week. Have a great day. Peace.